It's a privilege and an honor to be with you. Let me start by wishing you all pranam and Jai Hind. मैं जब आया आपके बीच यहाँ बाहर जब उतरा मैं तो सबसे पहली चीज मैंने देखी एक एनसीसी का डिटैचमेंट giving a guard of honor along with a band. I thought I must make a mention of it. It was an outstanding performance. Absolutely. बहुत बढ़िया आपकी ड्रिल थी और आपके उस्ताद भी यहाँ में शायद हैं, खड़े हो जाएं उस्ताद, इनको भी एक ताली दीजिए जरा, क्योंकि हम जानते हैं कि ड्रिल कराने में उस्ताद की क्या अहमियत होती है, हम जानते हैं उसको. बैठिए. And I am also aware that there was a mistake in the guard of honor, and that's why I particularly pointed out to Ratna ji that it's important to recognize a mistake and acknowledge it and yet let it go, because that's how you learn in life. I pointed that out to the student also. Very good. आपको गलती करनी पड़ेगी जिंदगी में. जब गलतियां करेंगे तभी सीखेंगे. और गलती जो है वो जान के नहीं थी, वो गलती while performing the act was carried out. It's a very important thing. I thought I must point this out. I'm also extremely happy that I've come for this function, which seems to be organized so brilliantly. Absolutely. This एक तो ये आपका लोकेशन ही इतना बढ़िया है. मुझे अब यहाँ तकरीबन 5 हफ्ते हो गए हैं पटना में. What I'm getting very impressed with in Patna is the state of auditoriums, convention centers. जहां मैं जाता हूं एक से बढ़िया एक आपका हॉल मिलता है. It just shows that obviously infrastructure तो आपका सब है यहाँ पर. There is nothing wrong with our higher education system either. It's just that it requires a little bit of a tweak, it requires a little bit of a push, and it requires a bit of a perhaps a refinement. Nothing else, and we will achieve what is set out for us and what we are ordained to achieve, I'm sure. I think it's a privilege for me to be at the BT College today, an institution reflecting resilience and purpose. Founded by the late Bhuvaneshwari Dayalji, it exemplifies that institutions are built not merely by infrastructure but by commitment to education and society. Today's theme, for which I compliment BT College, I compliment the principal, it unites 3 powerful forces: policy evaluation, and technology. Technology is a subject which is included in every speech today. It's not in the domain of education alone. You go anywhere outside. My domain of defense and national security, if you are not talking about technology, you are well outdated. You are seeing what is happening in the Gulf War today and what is happening in the Persian Gulf. Everything is on technologies at the moment. No one is putting boots on ground. आप रोज पढ़ते हैं ना कि कब boots on ground आएंगे. कोई boots on ground की जरूरत नहीं होगी. जैसे जैसे आप आगे बढ़ते जाएंगे, technologies will keep adding. Unfortunately, in the domain of national security, technology will be used very negatively to cause more and more destruction. But here, in your world, in the world of education, technology is a force multiplier in a positive direction. That's the most important thing. Individually, these 3 things, policy evaluation, technology, and policy evaluation and technology, all of them come together to enable what is called genuine transformation. This is the other terminology which is being used everywhere, every day today. Transformation. Very important to understand the difference from transaction. Transaction is what is common between us. I give you 10 rupees and you give me value worth 10 rupees. That is a transaction. Transformation is something completely different. You want a transactional change, it will happen at a space, it will happen in its time, but if you want a transformational change, you have to dig out the old from the roots and push in the new. And that's exactly what this whole symposium is all about. The new education policy, the whole business of technologies and how they can be used to bring about this effective transformational change. The national education policy marks a decisive shift away from the rigid, compartmentalized learning towards a much more holistic, flexible, and multidisciplinary approach. It challenges the long-standing emphasis on rote learning, which we used to do. I remember, मैं भी यही पढ़ता था, rote करके mostly. And it brings in critical thinking, it brings in creativity, and it brings in problem solving. The whole issue of analysis, the ability to apply your mind to a problem. आधे वक्त ये होता है कि we go by a standard operating procedure, एक drill के मुताबिक हम किसी चीज को करते हैं बिना सोच विचार के. But the application of mind and bringing of critical thinking is a very important aspect which is included in this policy. Education in this framework is no longer about the accumulation of facts. बहुत सी knowledge आपने gain कर दी, but you don't know how to make use of that knowledge. Unless that knowledge, you have the capability to analyze it, sift it, and see what is the best way of doing a particular problem, solving a particular problem. The policy envisions institutions that are inclusive and accessible, yet globally competitive. It promotes curriculum flexibility, as you've seen just now. It's so beautifully explained to us just now. Curriculum flexibility, skill-oriented learning, research and innovation, and the integration of Indian knowledge systems with contemporary global practices. In a sense, it seeks to prepare young minds not just for employment, कि मुझे काम मिल जाए किसी तरह, सर्विस में लग जाऊं मैं, but for life in an increasingly complex and interconnected world. As we go along, and particularly the infusion of AI, the way it is going at the moment, you are going to find a completely connected world. And in that, just rote learning, knowledge for the sake of knowledge is not going to allow you to progress. You will just have to have the capability of transformational thinking, critical transformational thinking, to be able to make a success of yourself. The shift in evaluation from judgment to measurement. Parallel to policy transformation is a crucial shift in how institutions are evaluated. For years, evaluation remained descriptive, periodic, and often subjective, relying on reports and inspections that do not always capture the full picture of performance. The audit of an institution, for example. You have got a checklist with you, and you tick off, tick off, tick off, and say, okay, this is fine and this is not fine. That's no longer the kind of thing that you'll have to go. You'll have to go do far, far deeper analysis of institutions to actually evaluate them. We are now moving towards a parametric evaluation, and we should learn much more about this particular sphere. It's a very important aspect, a fundamental change where institutions are assessed through clearly defined, measurable parameters. These include inputs like infrastructure, as we just brought out, and the faculty, numbers of faculty, the quality of the faculty, processes such as teaching and research, and outcomes like student performance, placements, which was not really considered earlier so much, and societal impact, not something which you can measure easily, but as we go along, probably you will find the tools to be able to measure societal impact. This approach brings objectivity and transparency, enabling institutions to monitor progress, identify gaps, and take timely corrective action. It also allows meaningful comparison, fostering healthy competition and continuous improvement. The role of technology, something which I just mentioned a little earlier. This is the third element in this whole transformation process, particularly the domain of artificial intelligence. I just attended a week-long conference in Delhi before I came here and took over the appointment of the governor. It was a mind-boggling kind of a thing. It was not so easy for anyone just from a common understanding to come and step into the world of artificial intelligence. आपको बहुत वक्त लगेगा इसके लिए, मगर मैं समझता हूँ वक्त आ गया है कि हम सबको सोचना चाहिए इसके बारे में, अप्लाई करना चाहिए अपने आप को. Get into the world of artificial intelligence. Look at the basic tools and instruments of learning in artificial intelligence. और आप खुद ही देखेंगे कि कितना आपके कंप्यूटर पे कितना है, आपके मोबाइल पे कितना है आज. And how it can aid your own learning. Start by simply trying to understand what is AI through AI. That may perhaps change your whole outlook towards thinking. Of course, it is going to make a lot of difference to a lot of people in the sense that knowledge is easily available today. पहले आपको किताब ढूंढनी पड़ती थी, उसको उसके अंदर छानबीन करनी पड़ती थी. You have to look for the right chapter in it. Today you give a prompt. You give a prompt and you have to understand what is a good prompt. You give a prompt and you get the knowledge. Then you analyze it in your mind, put your analysis back as a prompt, and you get a further prompt, information out of it. So this is how you keep building up knowledge today, and that is something which we all have to learn in society. I dare say today not more than 5 to 10% of the population, of the people, educated people who are in colleges, universities, etc., may be actually involved in learning through artificial intelligence. Therefore, there is a crying need to bring this about and educate people on it. Artificial intelligence is rapidly becoming a structural force in higher education. It has the capacity to analyze student performance continuously, identifying learning gaps, and even suggest personalized interventions. It can assist faculty in designing better teaching strategies, curate content from multiple sources, as I was just mentioning, and support research by identifying emerging trends and opportunities. The world of research has really opened up after the advent of AI. At the institutional level, technology can streamline administrative processes, automate compliance requirements, and generate reports with accuracy and speed. In this sense, technology does not replace the human element in education. Rather, it amplifies it. A teacher supported by intelligent systems becomes far more effective, much more responsive, and much more impactful. That's the important aspect of AI which must be kept in mind. I won't go beyond this because I've already taken up too much of your time. But at the end, I thought an important aspect which I, in my duties as the governor of Bihar, I feel that whenever I find a segment of the educated fraternity of the people of Bihar with me in front of me, I always feel I need to convey this message in 2 to 3 minutes, nothing more than that. Besides the learning aspect that we are going through here, it's important for us to understand some of the social aspects of transformation which is taking place around the world, and particularly in our country and in your own state. 3 things which I have taken upon myself to message everyone and make you feel aware about it and make you therefore create a network and spread the word around. The first is on drugs. You cannot afford your society to get paralyzed by this whole menace of drugs. I have seen what has happened to Punjab. I have seen what has happened to Jammu and Kashmir. Let me tell you, both places, both border states. Here we are also, unfortunately, in Bihar at the confluence of various routes of drug infusion into India from all over. I hope this doesn't ever happen here. I know that there will be efforts to try and infuse it because people who have to profit from it will want more and more people to use it. You cannot allow the young people to get involved in this, and therefore awareness is important. That's what I just want to bring to your notice. The second thing is medical conditioning. I want you to be aware that India has succeeded hugely in polio eradication. Many other things. We fought COVID in a very, very transformational way, but TB has come back and hit us again. And although we have started a huge TB Mukt Bharat campaign in India in 2020-21, but because of COVID, it took a bit of a break. We are back into it again. TB Mukt Bihar is the other thing that we are looking at. You need to educate yourself. The people who work with you, you need to educate them. Awareness is the important thing. At least basics, just simple basic knowledge. Even if you pick up your mobile today and Google what are the symptoms of TB and understand them, maybe it will get generated in your mind and you will spread this knowledge to someone else. That will be good enough. My purpose of speaking for 2 minutes here will be achieved. And my last thing is the use of plastic. This is again a social message to educated society in Patna and in Bihar. Single-use plastic is a menace, absolutely. It is eating up our society, it is eating up our animals from inside. You cannot allow this to keep proliferating. We as educated people have to be aware and make sure that in our homes and outside our homes around us, we do not allow this proliferation of plastic to be thrown all over the place. We need to live in an environment free of plastic. That's the important aspect. So I hope you don't think that I'm obsessed with some social aspects which I always emphasize and focus upon. But I always think along with learning, it's important to focus on these things also simultaneously, especially when you're talking to such an educated segment of society in Bihar. Thank you very much. God bless.